Hey there everyone, it's Nina. Thanks for joining me today for a new video. Before I get started in today's video, I do want to mention that this is part of Simon Says Stamps Just a Note release blog hop. So if you would like to see more inspiration besides what I'm going to be sharing with you today, you're going to want to check out this blog hop because there's going to be a lot of great stuff being shared using this new collection. There is also a free gift with purchase available, and you can see the info on screen right now. I also have it listed on my blog, and there's links to everything in the video description or on the blog, depending on where you're watching this. All right, so let's talk about the card that I'm going to be sharing today. It's a quick and easy birthday card with a little bit of stenciling, a touch of paste, and some fun stamping. I'm going to be using this brand new stencil set called Layering Sunflowers. This is what it looks like when all the pieces get put together. And this stencil set is actually one I designed for the new release. So I hope you like it. I really love sunflowers and I thought this would be a fun pattern. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of paper in my Simon Says Stamp stamp and stencil mat. And I'm going to line up this stencil on top of it. What's nice about this stencil is I purposely designed it to be larger than an A2 card. These are 6x9 stencils so that you can use these on any size card, including 5x7. As I'm ink blending, because I want to color different sections of this layer in different colors, I'm actually using Simon Says Stamp detail blending brushes. So I started with green and now I'm using an orange to color in the flower centers. These detail brushes are small, so they're going to fit into these smaller spaces really easily. When this layer was done, I removed the stencil and you can see where we've gotten so far. The next layer is one of the petals, and this lines up super simple. You can see where it lines up around the centers of the flowers. So next I used some light yellow. This was lemonade, and again, same small blending brushes just because they're easy, but you could have used a larger brush for that layer. And then finally, the last layer is another set of petals. And what's nice about this is that that allows you to change colors. So now I can add a different color to this mix. And I did go with another yellow. This one's a little bit darker. This is citrine. And I'm going to use that to add a nice little shade of darker color. But before I take that stencil off, I'm actually going to step it up a notch, and we're going to add a little bit of paste. So this is Fallen Snow clear glitter paste from Brutus Monroe, and I'm just going to spread this over top of the stencil. I haven't removed it yet. The ink is still there, and we're just going to put the nice thin layer of that paste over top of that yellow ink blending. So what'll happen is this will dry, and we can still see the yellow ink blending underneath, but we'll have that really cool glitter texture on top. And I had no trouble using paste on my stamp and stencil mat. I was able to clean this really easily. So what I did was I took a cloth and I just carefully wiped up the excess paste off of my mat just to kind of get this cleaned up a little bit before I start adding some of the cleaner that is recommended for this mat. And I have the cleaner linked below in the video description too. This cleaner is safe to use with this mat. You don't want to use any other types of cleaners because you could chance removing the adhesive that is on this mat, but this cleaner is meant for it. So I cleaned off my mat and we're ready to cut this down. I used a postage stamp die for the sunflowers, and then I also pulled out this sheet of pattern paper from PinkFresh Studios, and I trimmed that down with an A2 rectangle die. So this is where we're going with the card. I need to add a sentiment, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this birthday sentiment from a CZ design stamp set. It's not part of the new release, but it's one of my absolute favorite sets, and it does come with coordinating dies, which I'll use. Now these little guys are new. These are the Blue Skies ink cubes from Simon Says Stamp. So there's actually a total of 12 new ink cubes available as sets of 6 in the new release, and I'm using the Blue Skies set for this. So I'm going to ink up this entire stamp with the lightest color, which is Twilight. It looks really nice, and now I'm going to take Galaxy, and we're going to create a two-tone effect with this greeting. So now I'm only going to use the bottom half of the sentiment, and I'm going to ink that up with Galaxy and then feather it with my blending brush. And so that's going to give me like a dip dye effect on this greeting. It looks so cool. It spices up the sentiment a little bit, gives it something extra special. Especially because this is a clean and simple card, I want it to have some interesting elements. So now I have this really nice, beautifully stamped sentiment that looks really cool, matches nicely with the colors that I'm using here on my card, and I'm going to use the coordinating dies to cut this out. What's nice is the ink cubes allow you to actually get this effect. It would be a little harder to get that same effect with a larger full-size ink pad. So sometimes it's actually nice to have both the cube and full-size options. Especially if you like certain colors, you might want to consider having both. Okay, so we're ready to assemble our card. I have my pattern paper here and I'm using a Simon Says Stamp glue stick. One of my go-to adhesives, really, because it's strong and it's simple to use and it gives me a little bit of wiggle room when I'm placing things down onto my card. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this paper onto my A2 size card, and then using some foam tape, I'm going to go ahead and cover the back side of my sunflower panel with that tape so that I can pop it up on top of the pattern paper. This gives it a little dimension and gives it some interest. And then finally, my greeting. This greeting is also popped up with foam tape. If you wanted a little less dimension, you could have skipped the foam tape and just glue everything straight down onto the card. But I'm going to put that along the bottom third of the card, and that's going to do it. Clean, simple, not too much else going on, and which is kind of funny for me. Usually I have the need to feel like I have to add sequins or something else to kind of zhuzh it up, but I decided I was going to embrace the simplicity and finish up the card just like this. And I love it. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I hope you like it too. So be sure to check out this new stencil set that I designed. It's called Layering Sunflowers, and I actually also designed the Layering Apples stencil set too. I haven't made anything with that yet, but there are a lot of great examples over on Simon Says Stamp's blog and galleries, also the store listing. So be sure to check that out too if you like creating teacher cards. That would be a really good one to add to your cart. Don't forget to check out the blog hop as well. I appreciate that you stopped by and watched this video. Thanks so much for tuning in, and be sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed. If you haven't already, I'd love to have you subscribe so that you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Until I see you again, friends, have a wonderful day, and thanks again for watching.